Hey everyone, I'm just in my little homemade studio and I'm going to be talking about, removing weeds by hand. I don't like using chemicals, so I'd like to believe that you can remove weeds just as effectively by hand. And I did a little test to see how fast I can remove weeds, just to see if it's feasible. So a little background here. We recently bought a house and it had like this old blacktop tennis court. It was in real rough shape. We had it removed, put some black dirt down, planted grass seed, tiny bit of fertilizer, a lot of water, and I was fully expecting nice, lush, green grass to just pop up. Like, I put a lot of work into this. But what happened was some grass came up and a lot of weeds. We're talking probably more weeds than grass. Definitely more weeds than grass in some areas. And I was a little bit sad, but I'm like, you know what? I don't want to dump a whole bunch of chemicals on. I would love to see, like, if I could just pick all the weeds by hand, maybe do a little bit each day. But in reality, what I did was I roped off a 10-foot by 10-foot section in the least weed dense corner of the new grass that had all the weeds. And I timed myself. It took me 40 minutes to remove all the weeds in that 100 square foot section. Now that comes out to 24 seconds per square foot. Okay, that's not too bad, but to balance things out, I also did another test, another 10-foot by 10-foot section in the most weed dense area. Now, when I was weeding here, I weeded for about a half hour, and by the end of the half hour, I had cleared about a 1.5 foot strip. So that comes out to removing weeds at a rate of 2 minutes per square foot. So it's like a lot slower, more than twice as slow. And that weed dense area is what most of the lawn looked like. So extrapolating out, the whole area is 3,200 square feet. So just doing some mental math, just kidding, I calculated this ahead of time. But if you average 1 minute per square foot, which is pretty fast, I'm assuming like you can weed it really fast, that's going to take you 533 hours and 20 minutes. Okay, that's a lot of time. That's over 20 days, 24-hour days. That's too long. It's infeasible. There's no way you could remove weeds by hand. It's just insane. You couldn't remove all the weeds. Okay, but what if you just thin out the weeds, like a quarter of the weeds? That's still 133 hours. Okay, that's still not feasible. So it's kind of sad, but it's not feasible removing all those weeds by hand. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this little experiment that I got to share. And hopefully it's helpful if you're trying to decide to put an effort to remove weeds by hand, or maybe using a chemical on your lawn. If you need to, if it's a high traffic grass area and you want it to look good, sometimes that's your only resort. At least after this experiment, that's my conclusion. Well, if you liked this content, if you like this video, if you want to see more, if you want to support me, whatever, don't forget to click the thumbs up button, like it, subscribe, and share, and leave comments. Because the more views I get, the more hits, the more content I'm gonna make. So I hope to see you back here soon. Hasta luego.